You're an unusual man, Mr. Berg. You speak 7 languages. You're an athlete. You're more than up to the physical requirements of the job.
What job?
Since this war began, we have reason to believe the Germans are working on a fission bomb.
The scientist leading the atomic program is Werner Heisenberg. We must get to him and find out how close the Germans are to a bomb.
Welcome to the OSS, Mr. Berg. Millions of lives at stake. A 5% chance of losing the war to a weapon like this, you do what has to be done. You can't allow yourself to be captured.
You know that I love you.
You brought me here to say goodbye?
I'll be back. Is this your first job? I've never killed a man, if that's what you mean. It's not as hard as you might think.
I don't know what God you believe in, Berg, if any. But I'll be asking mine to keep an eye on you.
What if Heisenberg is on our side? Are you hoping he'll defect?
If it comes down to it, are you going to be able to kill him?
Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. Would you like this pamphlet, Famous Jewish Sports Heroes? Ben, Christy, Alonso, the catcher was a spy.
So this is the true story of Moe Berg, who played, I think, 15 years in the major leagues as a catcher and was famous for being the smartest baseball player ever. And it turns out was a spy used by Bill Donovan at the OSS and was sent on a secret mission to stop the Nazis from completing the atomic bomb. And so you have a movie about a Jewish baseball player who was also an intellectual, smarter than everyone else, who becomes a spy to try to keep the Nazis from taking over the world. And somehow it sucks.
And he's gay. He's gay and closeted.
He's gay and closeted,
and
that is massively insufficiently explored.
Oh,
just
you
as,
don't say.
Yeah, as one of the areas that might have been interesting. You know, I mean, he is involved in a relationship with Sienna Miller, and they do have sex
on the piano.
On the piano, it was kind of a, but the move, like within the first.
So he's bi.
3 minutes. Right.
He's closeted. He loves her.
Right.
Well, if he has sex on the piano, I want to say he's bi.
Right.
Who am I to say?
So in the first 3 minutes of the movie, we sort of establish the Berg's baseball credentials, and we see him at Fenway Park catching for the Red Sox, and the hats are wrong. Everything is wrong.
I was going to ask you all the baseball.
Everything's wrong, and right away you hear the announcer talking, and the announcer says, and he goes, you know, there's the runner leading off first. They use no names because it's just, you know, there's the announcer, there's the runner leading off first. And he's third inning. Moe Berg behind the plate, been doing this for 15 years. How long can the old man keep going? You're like, what the hell kind of announcer?
I'm Louis Exposition.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like, that is not anything anyone would say. And,
Vin Scully, he is not.
No, totally, man. And then he throws out a runner at second base. And I mean, it literally looks like when, like an old timers game of people over 70. There's like, it looks like my dad trying to steal second base. I mean, so again, it was not. I'd forgive that stuff in a good movie, but it was I mean, I was watching it and I'm watching it with my wife, and I just said, "Uh-oh," like we're in things aren't going to work here, and then really nothing works, despite the fact that this is a really, really solid cast.
It's a great cast.
Yeah.
Each new scene brings somebody else. You're
Right.
like, oh, look, that's Mark Strong, that's Tom Wilkinson, that's Guy Pearce, that's Paul
Connie
Giamatti.
Nielsen, Paul Giamatti, right? Yeah,
It's an amazing cast, and I don't know, how do you take a story that is this dramatic and this fascinating and this true?
Jeff Daniels, Tom Wilkinson.
Jeff Daniels, it's a crazy, great cast, and it's so safe and it's so dry and it's like so understated to a fault, and not necessarily even like in a way that was a choice. I don't think.
Right,
I think it's just like there's an ineptitude of like how to. And not that it should be overly melodramatic. It should not. But this is the opposite extreme. It's just tasteful and safe to a fault.
Yeah, I mean, I wish the criticism was ultimately that it was safe. right? Because ultimately it falls short.
Because he's a catcher, get it?
I get it. It was a choice.
Yeah, so
sports joke.
but it couldn't even. Nice job. Yeah, it's a horrible fist bump, but nice job. The safe would have been okay. Then it just would have been boring. Like it legitimately does not work. Like it is inconsistent in almost every way that matters. Like it feels every single thing, whether it's spying, whether it's baseball, whether it's negotiating the hierarchy of the U.S. government to get involved, whether it's the physicists having a conversation about respecting each other for the work, but now they're torn apart by, Heisenberg's on one side and whoever Giamatti's playing is on the other side. Like everything feels false.
The battle scenes feel false.
No,
I mean, they're like World War II battle scenes, like urban warfare, and it feels really small and really cheesy.
That's right.
And just the way it's shot and cut, like it's just there's no drama to it.
It's like you can see the set right out of frame. You can't, but you just, as you're watching, you're like, go 2 inches that way, and
there's a car.
You'll see a guy reading Closer magazine, Right?
But it's like I like the idea of Paul Rudd playing a different character like this because it feels like a stretch, at least on paper. It feels like a stretch dramatically for him. Physically, he has to speak like French and German and Italian. Like it's a different role for him, and I like the ambition of that choice. And I just wish the material had risen to that.
And like
level.
Moe Berg spoke 8 languages, it is said, and
he went to Princeton and then he went to Columbia for law school.
Yeah, and they used to say about Moe Berg, he speaks 8 languages and couldn't hit his weight in any of them. A baseball joke. And also that he could play chess on the phone. There's a scene where they play chess where they talk about their moves. There's a right, isn't that?
Oh, it's over. They kind of start playing chess. He and Mark Strong plays Heisenberg.
But then they're having a conversation. They're away from the board and they're still playing the game, which is a little bit of that scene. But again, it doesn't. You don't quite know that's sort of amazing that somebody could accurately win a chess game against a champion chess player just by talking and remembering exactly where every piece is and then seeing their move and then responding. And that's a cool idea, right? That would signal that this guy was not just smart, but there was really something special about him. But that specialness, I love Paul Rudd. I mean, I love it. And
Mark Strong.
And Mark Strong. I mean, and what's Giancarlo Giannini. I mean, all these people, these actors I adore, and it's a waste across the board.
It's a missed opportunity across the board with all that talent there. So I'm seeing a 4.
Yeah, that feels generous. I gave it a 3.3. Okay. It's wrong.
3.7 is our number. It's at 34%.
And now there'll never be a good Moe Berg movie.
There's a good Hank Greenberg documentary.
There is a great
instead.
Hank Greenberg documentary if you have an itch for
Jewish
baseball players. Yeah.
All right, so 34% is the number on the tomato meter. Yeah, kind of a bummer. Don't bother. Bye.